Bill Gates is now the largest private farmland owner in the U.S., raising concerns about consolidation of agricultural land. It brings up a lot of questions, actually, like how do you sleep at night? And where do you get off? The bitter harvest of capitalist consolidation, Gates' farmland empire. In a stunning display of capitalism's voracious appetite, Bill Gates has emerged as the largest private farmland owner in the United States, a development that lays bare the systematic flaws in our economic system and the perils of unchecked wealth accumulation. If it makes you nervous, it probably should, because it's not a healthy position you want to be in when one guy owns the farmland and at any time can do whatever he wants if he felt like starving you or whatever. So let's take a look at the stats. Bill Gates owns approximately 242,000 to 269,000 acres of farmland across 19 different U.S. states. The estimated value of Gates' farmland holdings is over $690 million. Gates is considered the largest private owner of farmland in the United States. His farmland ownership represents about 1/4000th of all farmland, or 0.025%. So if you say it like that, it's clear that he hasn't bought up all the farmland, but nevertheless, as one human being having that much, it's a lot. It's a lot. And the question is, what is he doing with it? And we'll get to that. So he only owns about 0.025% of the available farmland. His largest farmland holdings by state include Louisiana with 69,000 acres, Arkansas with 47,000 acres, Arizona 25,000 acres, Nebraska he's got a nice 20,000 acres, and Illinois he's got 17,000 acres. While Gates is the largest private farmland owner, he ranks 49th overall when including individuals, families, and corporations who own farmland. So families and corporations, I'll got a separate list for them. Gates' farmland acquisitions began around 2013 through his investment firm Cascade Investment. Despite owning significant farmland, Gates has stated that his purchases are not directly connected to the climate change initiatives. Sure, he's just growing some of that frankenfood to turn us all vegan and make us use seed oils and turn us gay with your vaccines. Come on, relax, everybody, relax. Gates' land ownership has sparked debates about wealth concentration in agriculture and its potential impacts on small farmers. Well, yeah. The farmland owned by Gates is typically rented out to farmers who continue to operate it rather than being directly managed by Gates or any of his companies. So he's basically acting as a landlord and renting out to farms the land. So, which I don't know. That means essentially he's getting money that's gone from the government, goes to the farmers in the form of subsidies, because most of the farming thing that we have is propped up by subsidies, and then the money goes to him. So it goes from the government to the farmer to Bill, to Big Daddy Bill. Big Daddy Bill Gates, as they call him. And don't forget, this guy had an affair in the year 2000 with some Microsoft Windows employee, and it didn't get found out till 2019, and his wife divorced him. And now that makes one more divorced tech billionaire. The agricultural land grab by a tech billionaire exemplifies the grotesque concentration of resources that capitalism not only allows but actively encourages. While small family farms, whether on the vine, crushed by industrial agriculture and economic pressures, Gates amasses a veritable kingdom of cropland, wielding more influence over America's food supply than the entire states. The consolidation of agricultural land into the hands of the ultra-wealthy is a dangerous trend with far-reaching consequences. what's at stake here? The loss of rural livelihoods. As land ownership concentrates, small farmers are pushed out, decimating rural communities and ways of life. Also, when you have these people owning all the farmland, our food supply becomes vulnerable to their whims and profit motives. Large-scale industrial farming often prioritizes short-term yields over long-term sustainability and potentially exacerbating the soil degradation and biodiversity loss. So, he's already, participating in so many things that could be considered morally reprehensible. And we just did the last article, which was about how we've lost a lot of the nutrient content of our vegetables from industrialized farming. And so it's curious that anybody, especially with money like he has, would put money towards something like that. The economic inequality of it too. I mean, come on, land, a finite resource, becomes yet another vehicle for the rich to get richer, further widening the chasm between the haves and the have-nots. It's not so good. Massive land holdings also that translate to outsized political clout, which can skew agricultural policy to benefit the few or the many. It's just corruption and influence and everything like this. So Gates's farmland, it's an empire. It's not merely a personal investment. It's a symptom of a system that allows and encourages obscene accumulations of wealth and power. The unfettered capitalist machine, fueled by the sanctity of private property rights, has created a modern feudalism where the billionaires can become de facto lords of vast agricultural estates. This consolidation flies in the face of the Jeffersonian ideal of a nation independent farmers. Instead, we're witnessing the birth of a new landed gentry with Gates as its poster child. The irony of a tech magnate becoming America's largest farmer would be amusing if it wasn't so alarming. Okay. So let's take a look at some more stats. The world's billionaires collectively own $12.2 trillion as of 2023, and that's 13% of global GDP. It's not the whole thing, but it's a pretty big and growing number. We just talked about this. Approximately 89% of billionaires' wealth is typically held in company stocks, often concentrated in a single company. Billionaires own $2.7 trillion in real estate globally. Billionaires only keep about 1% of their wealth in cash and have highly liquid assets, which, if you don't know what liquid assets are, it's not, well, I'll spare you, but it's honestly anything they can get rid of quickly for some cash. You can liquidate it quick. I've been there. Sometimes you got to liquidate your inventory. Sometimes you got to liquidate your assets so that you can pay your bills. About 35% of investable assets are allocated to private equity and hedge funds, approximating about $4.27 trillion. So they've got a big chunk of it. Ultra wealthy also do like at least $1.5 trillion in arts and collectibles. And now, since they own everything and are looking for more ways to invest, they've got $85 billion in cryptocurrency among all the ultra wealthy. Bonds used to be more popular, but now 15% of billionaires' financial portfolios are in bonds. But you can't always cash out a bond so easily and quickly. And don't forget about the yachts and the jets and the luxury vehicles, because that's another asset that they can actually utilize while, you enjoy it while it represents some of your net worth. And the last thing on the list is intellectual property. So, which I don't know, I'm against the idea of intellectual property. So anybody who's claiming they want to save the world but wants to patent it first and not give it away, just perplexing. While harder to quantify, billionaires' ownership of patents, trademarks, and other intellectual property is estimated to be worth hundreds of billions of dollars. Yeah, we're going to keep grappling with this. The ultra wealthy owning this land should set off alarm bells. And Bill Gates. I mean, here we have the poster boy for capitalist gluttony. He's gorging himself on America's heartland like a locust in a Brook Brothers suit. Fancy talker, smooth talker, fancy walker. One can almost hear the ghostly chuckle of robber barons past this four-eyed fuckwit plants his flag in every godforsaken acre from sea to shining sea. Let's not kid ourselves, folks. This isn't about feeding the hungry or saving the planet. No, this is about control, pure and simple. Gates, having already wormed his way into our computers, our schools, and our bloody vaccines, now fancies himself the overlord of our very sustenance. It's enough to make you wish for a plague of locusts. At least they'd leave some scraps for the rest of us, poor bastards. But fear not, because for sure, I know that Gates' agrarian wet dream will trickle down to us eventually. Perhaps in the form of a Windows-flavored soybean or some other culinary abomination birthed from the unholy union of Silicon Valley and the San Joaquin Christ on a combine harvester. We're well and truly fucked.